On July 27th, 2024, the VA, the University of Michigan, performed a liver transplant. 3 months later, I had a stroke. I survived a stroke. I survived liver disease. I survived liver failure. I survived a liver transplant. I'm remembering and honoring my donor and proving that machinery and people can be restored. This is my story. I'm Jeff. I served in Desert Storm. On July 27th, 2024, the VA, the University of Michigan, performed a liver transplant. 3 months later, I had a stroke. I survived a stroke. I survived liver disease. I survived liver failure. I survived a liver transplant. I'm remembering and honoring my donor and proving that machinery and people can be restored. This is my story. Hey y'all, Jeff here, Water Tucky 1620. I joined the Navy to serve my country. I went to Desert Storm, I did my job, I came home, and being in the military gives you resilience, it gives you life, it teaches you the right path as a man, how to accept and do what you need to do, to how to adapt, overcome, complete the task, the mission, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know that 33 years later that the life of the military is still ingrained in me, and it's helped me get through my liver process, and it's helped me to endure life, accept it as I'm getting older. And I want to show you that this was my first duty station there. That was the USS Constellation. It was an aircraft carrier. Here's the original hat from it. And this is for working on the flight deck. So, and my uniforms and everything else I do not have. They were stolen from me when my house, my place that I used to live in, was broken into. So, I just want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. Thank you. Hey everyone, Jeff here, Water Tucky 1620. I wanted to talk to you about the liver transplant and the medical battle, I guess you might as well call it that. Started in 2021. I didn't really know the liver was failing then. I really didn't know the liver was failing until 2022, actually. So, that's how long it took for them to figure out what was going on. It wasn't overnight, obviously, and it was a slow progress to the point to where, I stayed in the hospital a lot. I had a lot of hospital stays. My wife, God help me, she has been my right-hand man, my woman, everything, she is the glue that keeps us together, and she did this through this whole process, and I love my wife. I'm so proud of her. She's gotten a promotion at her job now. She's boss. Things are coming around, and then this 4-year period or 4.5-year period is more than 1,500 days, to that point when and where I'm at now, and it's I'll never forget it. The day I got the call too, it was 10:30 at night on Thursday night. We were still up in bed. We were laying in bed, got a phone call about it, and I said yes, and I started crying. I'm the one person who gets emotion, but sometimes I don't get emotional enough. But for me, the University of Michigan and the VA came together and said, hey, because my wife and I went through the VA. We started at the VA. they took us to Pittsburgh. That was supposed to be the best place in the VA system for liver transplants. Well, we stayed 3 months in Pittsburgh. Got to know Pittsburgh really well, honestly, but in that 3-month period. But they said they denied me my liver opportunity. So at that time, my wife and I already had a plan implemented into the University of Michigan. And thank God my liver doctor from the VA has great friends, and they all work together between University of Michigan and the VA in Ann Arbor. They got together and said, hey, we'll take them on, we're gonna help you, blah, 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 and they did, and I can't thank them enough. But the one person that's always in my mind is the person who died and allowed me to have this gift, to live. I think about that every day, and people don't realize when you get somebody else's organ, they're giving you a gift. They're giving you life. So it's like carrying them inside and giving them life in a way. I don't know. It's unexplainable, I guess. I really can't explain it. Thank God, July 27th, 2024 is when I got the liver transplant. The thing is the recovery is supposed to be 2 weeks. I was out of the hospital in 4 days. Yes, 4 days. Of course, I went back in 2 weeks later because I had a tear. So they fixed that tear. So I had to get opened back up again, and they fixed the tear. Then down the road, 3 months later, comes October. I wake up one morning, I'm feeling numb and everything, didn't realize I had a stroke. So ever since then, man, for me, it's been a struggle. It was a struggle to begin with, but it's been getting easier and easier. I work out here in my garage, in my shop, whatever you want to call it, every day. I do things around the house. I'm more maneuverable. I can move things. I can do things. Things that I thought would never be possible. So I just want you folks to know, donate. Do not be afraid to put yourself up there and say, all right, I'm willing to give away one of my organs to save somebody else. So don't forget that, please, please. And thank you. Again, thank you very much. Hey everyone, Jeff here, Water Turkey 1620. Well, here's my garage. My shop is behind me. Right now, with the sled. And the sled passion has come from me as a kid, man. I grew up snowmobiling, living here in Michigan. I got out of touch with it when I went into service. So, I lost that. But I didn't lose downhill skiing because I used to be a downhill skier too. And so, when I got out west, I skied out west. I skied the Big Bear, if anybody know what Big Bear is. And you've been to California. But, my biggest thing is every time when I was sick, when I was in the hospital for my liver transplant, snowmobiles was my passion. YouTube was my passion. Yeah, I signed up, but I never recorded any of my stuff in the hospital because I didn't think it was right. I didn't think I had a choice. I thought it was inappropriate too at the time. So anyways, snowmobiling has been in my blood, just like NASCAR, Right now, that's my driver. This used to be my driver. It's always been my driver. His owner. Now, but before that, I was in a NASCAR when I was 6 years old. I lived in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. My folks and I moved from northern Michigan to Alabama during the early 70s. And think about it, when we moved in, I moved into a neighborhood where I was the minority. Yeah. And plus, moving in there, then still black people didn't have a whole lot of rights. I'm telling you. But I grew up with them. So, I enjoyed who I had as friends then. So I learned as a kid then to get along, Or as Rodney King said, can we all just get along? I don't mean to be a smartass, but, that's what it is, And for me, the service, liver transplant, stroke, whatever else is going on with me, there are other things, osteoporosis, getting old sucks. But it's part of life, and I know, at the end of life, I know we're going to be taken care of. I know people are going to love us. I know we won't be forgotten, So for me, it's about snowmobiling, it's about NASCAR, it's about the liver transplant, the liver donations, letting people know that donating an organ, lungs, liver, kidneys, whatever can be donated, eyes. My stepdad had an eye replacement. That was a donation, So telling you folks, if you get out there and you register, don't be afraid to register. It's okay. That for me, life is moving forward. And I've done a lot of work out here, honestly. I've made this garage a lot nicer looking, a lot more shelves, as you can tell, boxes, of course. These are all, this shelf over here, that's all car parts from my Firebird I was rebuilding at one time. I had to stop doing that because my drinking got in the way, and then I got sick, so what can I do? Most of it's my fault. All of it's my fault, actually. I put it on me. I don't put it on nobody else. I don't put it on my child. They don't put it on none of that shit. Because that there, to me, is wrong. And I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up to be a sissy. I grew up to be a man and be respectful, too, at the same time. So with all this, I just want to tell y'all, thank you from my heart. Thank you for all of you. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for continuing to watch. I praise for all of you, and praise and faith and hope.